Well, hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Russell Palmer, and I'm the Assistant Director for Support Services at Galileo. And if you weren't able to attend this session live, or if you came in late, just a quick introduction. I want to thank Danita Hinckley for asking me to do this for you all. And what I intend to do today is offer a quick update on what's new in recent months with Galileo, with an eye toward being instructional and functional about Galileo features and functionality. And then we'll also, as we go through our content today, we'll talk about some of the things that are coming in December, on December 20th of this year. Galileo will be doing its next major release. We've done, this will be our third major release since we began our redesign. And we'll be making some functional improvements to our Bento Search and other parts of Galileo to make it work better and to serve your students better. So I'll start out today by I will be going back and forth between both my slides and live demo here. So let me go ahead and get started. One feature that we have added recently, and we wanted to make a clearer and easier path for users with our login page. Galileo's login page is in a bit of a transition. You can search for your institution or your school and then go directly to your login from there, or you can simply come to the Galileo website and the login page and put in the Galileo password. So one thing that we wanted to do was to make these steps a little clearer with some plain language for someone who might be a brand new user for Galileo, so that this was a little bit more spelled out for them. We've gotten some feedback on this page that it could be a little bit better. And this is something that we've just added recently. This won't be part, I'll try to be clear also when something is part of the December 20th release and when something is live now. This is actually live now in Galileo. I'm going to go ahead and show you in Galileo. This is the page that I'm talking about, and you see that it simply outlines the steps to log in, find your school, or if you know your password, you can just simply click this Know Your Password drop down and go ahead and put in your password and go in. And this is interesting because it leads me to one of the next things that I want to share with you about work that we've been doing in Galileo. And one of the next things that we've had in Galileo for a while, but I wanted to take a minute to talk about and explain for you all in detail, are the views. Primarily, we often refer to these internally as our kids' views or our school views. And what we've done is we've designed it so that Galileo views here for both our K-12 and our public libraries are designed to provide content and searchability that is both age appropriate, grade level appropriate, so that when students go here to use this content, they're finding what they need. They're not finding things that are over their head. So for example, if I'm here and I go into the elementary view, I will get a different list of databases in the Spotlight, which are focused on elementary school students. I will also get a different list in the All Databases list of databases that are designed to be the best databases for K through 5 kids. And then also the Galileo Discover search, the search that you find on the main page, essentially searches those databases that are appropriately designed to be grade level and age level specific for elementary school students. So you'll find content here when you search Galileo here that is designed for K through 5. Now, if I switch views to the educator view in Galileo, then I'm searching all the content in Galileo in the search. And you'll see that I get the full list of Galileo databases if I go to the All Databases button here. So I'll get every single database So that's the difference in those views. And to switch between those views, you simply use the drop down at the top of the screen. So you can see I can go to middle school view. I'm getting my database list, and I go to high school view, and you see the number of databases that I have in each view changes. So that's just a little bit about some of the navigation things that we've been working on here at Galileo. Moving back to my slide deck here. We have also added a tour in Galileo, which I can show you. Again, the whole idea that we want to be able to point to functionality easily for students and have them be able to get some guidance on how to navigate the page anytime they're on the page. If you go to the tour area of the page, and the tour will be updated every time that we make new additions to Galileo features and functionality. So we're working on personalization for Galileo in the future, so we've added some features for that, but it'll take you just step by step in plain language what each one of these items on the page does. So it's not going to be the depth that I'm giving you right here in a training session, but it will tell you, the basics functionality of what something is and what it does on the Galileo pages. So the tour is also specific to the site that you're on. So if you're on the Galileo main page, you're going to get this tour. If you're on the Galileo login page, it'll also give you a tour of what's happening there and how to log in. So just a quick look at that new tour functionality, which is something that we added and updated fairly recently. Talked about the kids' views. We've also made some improvements to the way that database searching works. And I will go ahead and tell you that we're going to move the database search and the all databases and databases by type list with the December 20th release this year. And I will talk about what I mean in a minute. But this is functionality that can be accessed in the all databases list. And basically, we have added keywords to our database descriptions, along with formats and subjects. Some of those are there, but just by default. But the keywords, in a lot of cases, we've added new keywords. If you are a Galileo administrator for your library, and if you are interested in having that ability, contact Galileo using the Contact Us form, the technical support form, and I'll show you where to access that in a few minutes. And we can work with you on getting access to this functionality. But administrative users can actually add your own keywords to Galileo databases to make it more discoverable at your school. So for example, if you had a database you use a lot, or you use it in a specific class or program, you could add a keyword for that class or program, which is a pretty neat way to be able to define something. So let me show you in practice what this means, and also tell you a little bit about what we're doing with our changes. I'm going to go into the educator view just because it's a little bit clearer what we're up to there. We are not, I like to be clear about this, we are not removing the databases by subject and databases by type functionality from Galileo. We are simply relocating this to a more efficient area of the page, along with this database search. One of the complaints that we've had for a long time is this is just a lot of wasted, not really wasted space, it's functional space, but it takes up a lot of space in the middle of the page, and it isn't really something that needs to be there. And we have done an intermediary step to this by putting our all databases, all journals, and in the spotlight link here at the top right of the page. And once we go live with our December 20th changes, the all databases button is how you will access this. I'll talk more about the Bento Search specifically in a few minutes, including some of the changes that we're making to the Bento Search for December 20th release. But just to show you what this is going to look like once we make that change on the 20th, if I turn on the Bento Search now, it takes away that functionality. Again, we released the Bento Search as a beta with the idea that this would also change how the page looks so that it would look like what it will look like when Bento is officially the full-on search for Galileo on December 20th. So just to show you, if I click on the All Databases button here, I can browse those 170 databases that I have available to me. But if I want to limit my search by type, so if I'm looking for primary sources, for example, I want to limit in that way. I don't see it on my list, but I want to find alphabetically primary sources or archives. Let's see, this is maybe a tricky one. Archives and primary sources. I can find the databases that specifically cover that content by clicking on that search. And we've also improved the relevance ranking for databases by type and databases by subject in recent months, so that those things are working a little bit better. If I click on the subjects here, for example, when we first released the new version of Galileo, it was kind of throwing all the same databases front and center when I would do a databases search and sort by relevance. Now I'm getting the virtual chemistry lab resource first, and the science and technology collection and other resources in the sciences are being prioritized first because it's hitting on that chemistry keyword and bringing it up first. So I mentioned the keyword functionality. I'm going to go ahead and click on more info here under virtual chemistry lab. You see now that those formats, subjects, keywords, and vendors are now clickable. So if I want to look for more educator resources in Galileo, if I click that educator resources keyword, that is now clickable, and it will take me to where I can find more educator resources, which is just great. So that's a functionality we've added. And it is live now. Everything I'm showing you now is live in the current version of Galileo, and I will be showing you some things in a bit that are not quite live yet. So again, improved database search and keywords, but also improved relevance ranking. One thing I didn't point out there in the database list that I like to share over and over with all of our K-12 educators is that we do provide the ability, if you ever want to put a direct link to a specific database. So for example, I am a teacher and I have a project and I want to use Britannica School Elementary. I want my students to use that database for that project. And I don't want them to have to log all the way into Galileo. I don't want their parents to have to go in here and dig around and find all the alphabetical lists and dig for the database. We have what are called the Galileo Express links. And if I click on the Galileo Express link, it provides me a link that I can copy and put on a website or a handout that will be a direct link to that database that will take students directly there. If they're on campus in the library, then it will take them directly to the database. I'm logged in right now, so it's going to take me directly to Britannica School Elementary. If I was at home and I hadn't logged in already, it would take me to the Galileo password page, and I would just enter my password, and away I would go directly into the database. A lot easier for students and parents than having to click around in Galileo to find their way when they just need a specific database. And that is available both here in the list. And if you ever need a list of all your databases, if you go to the all databases functionality, you can get those express links as well. So we have it in several different places. And if you ever want just a list of all your express links, we can export one and send it to you. So that, just want to mention express links as well. So I mentioned the improved relevance ranking with subject and type and showed chemistry with that. Some new things that we've added to Galileo that are more functional. And I mentioned earlier the whole idea that we have administrative users now for Galileo. For our schools, that would be someone, you can only right now make changes for the Galileo portal for the entire school system. We're hoping we can improve that and make changes to that in the future. But right now, you will need to make those changes kind of down at the library, at the public library school, pardon me, the public school system level. I can talk in a minute. But we have made it so that if you want to become an administrative user, again, reach out to us via the support request form, and we'll set you up with that. But you can add your, we can make changes to our tools area, but we can also add up to 6 links into the about your library or about your school system area, which could be really helpful to educators. If you wanted to put, for example, there's a link to the library catalog and to the library homepage here for Athens Regional Library System, but you could add things like specific tools that are used in your library. You could add links out to learning management system, information for parents. There's lots of ways that you could use this very productively on your Galileo portal page. Excuse me. We also have added tools. We've added a tool called Power Notes and another called Shareable. Power Notes is basically a free research management tool that high school students certainly might take advantage of in terms of managing a research paper. It's kind of like doing index cards, but doing them in with a browser plugin. Basically, it's super easy to use. And then we've added Zotero-Bib, which is a bibliography generator. It's as simple as putting a link or some basic citation information in, and then it generates the citation for you out the other side. There are lots of tools that do this, and a lot of the Galileo databases do this already. But over the years, people have asked us if we would please put a specific link to a bibliography generator. And Zotero-Bib was a really good one because it was free. It is open source. There are no ads or any junk on it, and it is a really useful bibliography generator tool. Other tools that we've added include our shareable links. And again, I mentioned our express links earlier, but I always like to mention also our shareable links. Again, I'm in the educator view, but if I go down to the tools area and I click on shareable links, you'll see that I can get direct links. So if you're working in an elementary school and you only want to provide a link on your website to the elementary school view, you can do that using the shareable link. So if I capture this shareable link for the elementary school view, and then I copy paste it into my browser, you see it takes me directly to that elementary view. So that can be great if you are working in a specific type of school, or if you want to put a specific type of link to Galileo in your learning management page. That can be a very, very helpful way to do it. We also have shareable links to the A to Z database lists, and we have those for each view as well. So if you wanted to provide a direct link with an alphabetical list of all the databases available for that particular view, you can do that as well. So I'll show the shareable link for elementary here again, but this time with the A to Z database list, and you'll see it takes me directly to those databases that are available for students in the elementary school view. So just wanted to share the shareable links. And then one other just worth mentioning tool is the embeddable Galileo search box. And if I want to ever embed a Galileo search box into, say, a learning management tool or a library web page, I can do that. I can do it both for the plain old normal Galileo Discover search, but I can also do it for the Galileo Bento search. And that code is institution specific, but you can capture it for your school in that embedded search box tool area right here in the tools. So just a quick look at the tools that we've added in recent months. And there's that updated Galileo search box. This is actually from a library's website, what it looks like. And just a little bit more on the Bento search now. So updated the slide today for fun. I'm still in beta. We did release the Galileo Bento search as a beta release. As I mentioned earlier, on December 20th, we will make the Bento search the default search in Galileo. And we will roll that out in a way that is not going to be bothersome at all to users. You will still have access to very easily the standard Galileo, what we're calling the classic search now. And the way that we're doing this, and this is brand new, hot off the presses, this graphic on the right-hand side of the screen here, the screen capture that I've done, we haven't even put this into our staging site yet. It has just been approved by our Development Advisory Committee, and but this is what it's going to look like. And so on this, the user will come here. They will have as default the Bento search. So if they put in search terms, it will give them that Bento formatted resource list. But you see the Bento search is labeled, it's highlighted in blue. There will be a hover button that describes each of the search types. So if I hover, it'll pop out and tell me what the Bento search does. If I hover here, it'll tell me what the classic search does, and I can easily simply click and switch back and forth between the two. And you see that Bento is characterized by the boxes graphic, and classic is just a list graphic. So it is very, it'll be hopefully very easy for users to get a feel for and distinguish between and switch between the two different search types. It's a little bit cleaner and more elegant than the giant yellow button that we have now. So that is how we will manage that transition between the two different search types in the not too distant future. So again, the Bento search itself, we released that search on July 19th, and we've made improvements over the fall, and it will become the default search in the Galileo portal on December 20th. We have continued to make iterative improvements to the Bento search. Even now, we've made some changes and updates behind the scenes to make it work a little bit better. We've continued to get feedback from our Galileo Development Advisory Committee, which is very well represented by K-12. There's, I think, 3 K-12 members of the Galileo Development Advisory Committee. So, you know, one of the things we've always wanted to make sure that we do is make it easy to turn that Bento search on and off, and this is what it looks like now. And then we'll talk a little bit about the search results. We'll actually go in and do some searching. So I'm going to back into the Galileo homepage now, and I have the Bento search turned on, and I'm in the educator view. So if I'm in the educator view and I want to search for Georgia and Juliet Gordon Lowe, I'll go ahead and click search. I can also limit the full text if I want, but I'll go ahead and go into search. And it takes me into the Bento view of my search results. So it divides, the whole purpose of the Bento search is to make it easier to find the types of content that you're looking for. And it was interesting, we were going through the feedback that we got in our Galileo annual survey last week, and not a lot of people are using the Bento search yet while it's in beta, but we did get some really positive comments from students who said that sorting the information like this made it a lot easier for them to manage and find what they needed when they were assigned to find a specific type of content. So you see that it breaks it out by ebooks, news, scholarly articles, encyclopedia articles. One of the things that we're going to be adding to the encyclopedia area, you see this is pulling from Britannica right now. It will also begin pulling on December 20th. We'll be adding the new Georgia encyclopedia, which would also obviously have an interesting article on Juliet Gordon Lowe. So within my search results, so we have things like EPUB of full text. If I click on the full text button, it'll take me out to the full text from the Bento search results. And it keeps me in that same window. So if once I'm done reading my search or my book, I can go back into, actually it takes me into a different window. It takes me back to, I can pop back into my search results and keep my book open, so I don't have to switch back and forth. Now, some of the things that we're doing with the Bento search, let me just go ahead and finish my review here, is notice that we do have a databases box. It searches basically the databases list for the view that you're in, and if any of those meet, match with your search terms, it will bring them up. If I just do here, crank back and just do Georgia for a search. If I'm looking for general information about Georgia and I want to see all the databases that Galileo has that I can go into, I can find things like the Georgia Historic Newspaper Archive and more. But I've greatly increased the overall number of search results by getting rid of that Boolean and Juliet Gordon Low. We have these pill buttons, they're called, in order to toggle back and forth between material types. Again, obviously some of the material falls what we call below the fold here on the website. So if I want to just go and look specifically at the 887,000 news articles, I can open the news box. And if I want to from here, I'm like, I'm good with this. I don't want to use the Bento anymore. I want to refine the search that I just did. If I click on refine search, it will take me out to the standard search as well. So there's always a way to get back to the standard EBSCO Discover search that users may be more used to and more comfortable with in certain situations. But it does keep my Bento results open as well, so I can go back and forth between the two if I so desire. So one of the things that we're going to also be adding soon, Galileo institutional administrators will be able to prioritize the order on a per view basis of how the bentos appear. So we're talking elementary view, and you don't want, and I think we've already got it set up so that it doesn't, and you didn't want scholarly articles to appear, you can either turn that bento off, or you can push that bento down in the search results in the version of Galileo that we're going to be releasing in December. It has to be done by an administrative user, but Galileo staff can also do it if a school system wants some help with resetting their bentos. We can do it for them. So that's forthcoming. Another thing that we're adding that people have asked for, again, I mentioned those database search results. One of the things that we didn't add initially, I showed you how to access that express link earlier. So for example, you're a teacher and you're planning an activity and you're wanting 3 or 4 databases for students to look in to find some information about Georgia specifically. Well, if I'm here right now, I can't, other than clicking on the database, I can't really get out to that express link to the database. We're going to be adding a link that will open up that express link for you. It's just going to be a link button instead of saying express link, because we have minimal real estate here in the bento box area, but we will be making it so that you can get the express link to a database here on the databases part of the bento. Other improvements we're making, again, I mentioned the addition of more content to the new Georgia Encyclopedia. For some libraries that have custom catalogs with EBSCO, we'll actually be adding a catalog link, and this will be interesting. We'll start to work with K-12 on this at some point, but it probably won't be a feature that K-12 gets for a while, just because not a lot of K-12 schools have the custom catalog from EBSCO. Now, one of the nice things about the Bento, I've done this search here in the educator view. So I'm an educator. I wanted to see the big landscape. I wanted to search everything in Galileo first. Well, now I want to take my search. I want to do my search, but do I have to do my search again in the elementary view if I want to just repeat it and see what's available at the elementary school level? The answer is no. Once I've done a search in one view, if I want to click into that other view, it takes my search with me. And I really like that we set it up so that it does this. So now I'm just looking at the resources that are sort of elementary approved for that same set of search terms that's in the search box. And I can do the same thing. I can take that into middle school as well. So I can move from view to view and carry my search with me. And this can be particularly helpful. Say the use case I always think of is I'm searching in elementary school, but I'm not finding everything I'm wanting, and I'm not finding it at the right level for the student that I'm working with. Maybe I need to level up a little bit. I can do that just by level up so we can find some content that's a little bit better for you. I can do that by just flipping over to the middle school view and searching there. So that is one of the advantages of that. So that is what the Bento Search is and how it works. I'll go through and just have a slide here. Just a reminder that the pull buttons are there to kind of navigate through the different areas, the different material types. The advanced search also does lead back out to the classic search. The button for each of the material types will open your results for you, so you can bounce around. And we've, I think, done a nice job of making this pretty easy to navigate. And again, with the idea that we'll be making continuous improvements to this. The biggest thing that we'll be doing is with that December release is giving institutions some control over this. And what's neat is longer term, you will also have the ability to sort of build your own bento box. If you want a different category of material, we can help you out with building your own bento box. That's not quite ready for prime time yet, but it'll probably be released sometime early next year. So those are bento results. So I mentioned a few of these changes to Galileo admin, but for those of you who may be administrative users, administrators can now add searchable keywords to Galileo Central Resources. We saw that earlier. You can add searchable keywords to your institutional wayfinder. You can now update your own about links. You can turn the tools on and off, as I mentioned. And again, on December 20th, you'll be able to make those changes I mentioned to Bento. You'll be able to prioritize what boxes you want to appear first in your Bento results on a per view basis. So you can have it be something different in elementary than in educator, for example. And you will also be able to turn a box on or off in your Bento configuration. If you don't want a box on, you'll be able to turn it off. And there'll also be some boxes that aren't activated in every view by default that you can turn on. So we're making a lot of customizable options available there. So these are just a kind of run through of those features that I mentioned earlier. Just a quick summary here as we're getting toward the end of our time is just to want to summarize the phase 3 major release features that will be coming to you December. The default search, as I mentioned earlier, will become the Bento Search. As I mentioned, you saw how we would transition from one to the other, just a simple box at the top of the search screen to make it easy to go from one to the other. We're improving the journals Bento Search by using, this is more for USG, but an ALM API or the full text finder API, so those results are going to be a little bit better. We're going to allow for institutional customization of bento box positions. We're going to allow institutional admin users to turn individual bento boxes on or off. We're going to add a bento box for print materials for some institutions, and we're connecting the new Georgia Encyclopedia to Bento. And another thing before we go into question and answer time, I'm going to actually see if I can't log into the Galileo staging site and show something that we are working on. So this is the Galileo's staging site. So this is where we keep all the work that we're doing currently. Again, we haven't even put the new transition button in as yet. Let's see, let me try. I want to get one that has database results. Yeah. So I mentioned that we're going to be adding just the simple link button so that we can get that express link from the databases list. That's done here in, it'll just be a simple, everyone knows what it looks like, link button. And then there's one other change I wanted to show. Oh, yes, I remember what it was. I'm hoping that it'll still be in staging. Another thing we're going to do is purely a vendor-based change, but I think libraries are going to like it a great deal. We've always had our all journals, which lets you search through all publications that are available in full text in Galileo. One thing that people don't know is this also includes, actually, that update has gone away. I apologize. That update comes and goes as we make updates, but basically there will be a new journal finder site from EBSCO that will be added in the new version on December 20th, and that one is much more searchable. much easier to use, and it has a very clearly marked ebook search so that you can search books separately by applying just a very simple limiter at the top of the page. And I apologize, that is sometimes in production in our staging version, and sometimes is not. But we will be adding that and doing demos once we go live with that new site. So just want to give some previews when I could, and I apologize that that particular preview failed. So that is everything that I wanted to share. I'm going to come back out of the screen sharing option and just see what questions there might be at this point.
I do have a question about the ebooks.
Mm-hmm.
Searching, you said that is going to be released December 20th with the other updates?
Yep.
Okay.
It is. And Dania, I can, if I would turn off, I have a slide. Let me see if I can find my other slide. I didn't screen capture it today because I was going to try to show it live, but bear with me. I do have another slide deck that has a slide of it and what it's going to look like in here. It'll take me just 2 seconds, I think, to find it.
I think ebooks are a great resource for the K-12 librarians in Galileo. There's just, they don't realize so many are in there.
So, no, I think that's very true. And I've talked with I've done some recent events where we talked about that and how having those ebooks for some of them, for some of the smaller school systems, it triples the number of ebooks, the books total that they're able to have, and really keeps them in line with standards and other things.
Right.
Yeah, I know it's very helpful. Bear with me. I've had so many slides in recent weeks. We've been doing governance meetings, as you know.
Yes.
Here we go. Hold on 2 seconds and I'll show you a slide of what that is going to look like. I had an active demo and we put it into the staging site, but when we run updates to staging, new stuff goes out until we put it back in. Here we go. Yeah. Hang on, I'll share that with you. Got it open now. But yeah, it's a much nicer. We've always relied on the third-party vendor for this, but you'll see that it's so for the publications you can browse public. Are you seeing it now? Just to be sure.
Yes. Yes.
So this is what it will look like: publications, browse databases, browse subjects, and you see it has all journals only and books only.
Oh, great.
Yeah, a lot of people are not aware that you could always search. You always could, but it wasn't made clear by the search boxes that you can search for books in here. So it will search for the ebook content as well, and it'll make it a lot easier. I mean, we get a lot of questions on do you have this specific publication, and I think this one will make it a lot easier to find than the current one.
Oh yeah, I think that'll be nice.
Yeah,
and then the other comment I had was I did not realize that if you did the Bento box search as an educator, that you could then switch your view and it would keep your search, which is good. I like that.
We do too. And I've talked with teachers specifically who love that use case. I'm working with 5th grader going on in 7th grader, who loves to do the reading, loves to do everything. And I can make that easy transition and find something that's a little bit more on level for them. And you reminded me of one more thing, Danita, that we've already added that I wanted to share here today it was really important and I almost forgot it. One of the things that we did add recently, and this is live now in Galileo, is, and this is something that K-12 educators have asked for a long time, and that is the ability to limit by lexile in the Galileo search. They still haven't, EBSCO still hasn't added it to a lot of the databases themselves, but I'll just show you here. I'll actually do my search for dogs because this works really well for it. Actually, it's not in Bento yet, but it's in the standard. It's in the standard EDS search, classic search, if you will. So this did not exist until recently, but they have added it now that I can go in. It's not, I have to do it after I do my search. But you see now, Danita, that you can limit by lexile range here.
Okay, nice.
And it has some predefined ranges for me. This is something that has been asked for ages. And I'm so glad that we finally, even though it's not the prettiest way to do it, it's a way to do it.
Right.
Yeah, and it's only as good as the metadata that's in the content. So it may not find every single piece that's out there, but it is a lot better than nothing.
Exactly.
So I want to make sure I shared that, and it'll continue to get better. And we are continuing to look at on the Galileo side at what we can do to improve that also.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Not from me.
Okay. Well, then I hate it that we didn't get a group today, but hopefully we will soon. And
Yeah.
for those of you who are looking at this later as a recording, again, thank you for taking the time to look at the recording. I will say, you know, Danita, anybody that has questions about this as you deploy it in different places, you're welcome to route them directly to me for their questions.
All right. Well, I appreciate it very much.
You're most welcome. Well, take care. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.